I, 29M, am worried about how my girlfriend's eating disorder is going to affect her, our relationship, 25F, and our potential family long-term. Hi everyone. I wanted to get some outside opinions/perspective on a long-standing issue in my relationship. 29M, 25F. This is a long one, so I'm sorry in advance. I'd like to preface this by saying my girlfriend is by far one of the most genuine, sweet, amazing, smart, loyal, loving, caring, incredible person in the world. She has amazing values, morals, and is just one of the best people I've ever known. She's incredibly beautiful and doesn't lack in the looks category at all. We've been together for about 4 years now, and my girlfriend has everything I'm looking for in a future wife. I am growing more and more concerned, though, with her eating disorder. To give some background, she grew up with one of her parents being a weight loss doctor and her other being morbidly obese until recently. My girlfriend said that when she were young as 9, her mom talked to her about going on a diet because she was getting slightly chubby. Her mom also made comments like, "Make sure you take care of yourself so you don't end up fat like me." And one of my GFS brothers would constantly tell my GF she was fat and ugly, even though she wasn't. At one point in her life, she was eating so little food that she stopped getting her periods. Prior to my GF and I getting together, I always grew up skinny, about 6 feet tall, 135 to 140 pounds, until I was 19. I played a lot of soccer growing up, so I was always very skinny. I joined the gym when I was 19 and absolutely fell in love with it. I loved how it made me look, how it made me felt, etc. It helped me in every aspect of my life. I became more disciplined, had more energy, more confidence, the list goes on. Fast forward to today, and I'm much healthier at 190 pounds while being 12% body fat. I've lifted 4 to 6 times a week religiously ever since I've joined the gym, only taking time off for injuries, illness, or vacation. The gym truly saved my life. I finished HS with a 2.2 GPA and had no real direction in my life. I started going to the gym during my first year at college, where I started at a community college, transferred to a state university, and eventually got my bachelor's and master's degrees in a STEM field while only getting 3 Bs throughout my college career. I'm now making very good money and am very successful in my career so far. I truly believe that had I not joined the gym, I never would have been able to turn my life around like that. When I met my GF, she was about 120 pounds, 5 feet 3 inches. She has very big boobs though, so I think a lot of her weight is from that. I never thought she was unhealthy or anything at all when we first started dating. However, I quickly realized early on that my GF only ate 1 small meal a day and didn't realize the effects that was having on her until I dialed in on nutrition myself and saw the difference in my physical and mental health after I started eating enough and fueling my body properly compared to when I was training and not eating enough to grow. Before I dialed in on my nutrition and started eating enough, I would also have brain fog, be constipated, be low energy, crash in the middle of the day, be more anxious, had trouble sleeping, etc. My GF got into the gym with me shortly after we started dating and picked up my routing of lifting 4 to 6 times a week and walking 4+ miles a day, 7 days a week. Prior to her getting into the gym with me, she would mention a lot about how she had brain fog, was low energy, would be anxious a lot, trouble sleeping, pretty much all of the symptoms I experienced above when I wasn't eating enough. After some time of her working out with me, I noticed that she was getting more and more of the symptoms above because she was doing much more physically but still eating the same amount, 1 maybe 2 small meals a day, and was severely undereating. I realized she had an eating disorder relatively early on because she would randomly break down about how she feels fat, would constantly pinch the skin on her stomach, always talk about how she doesn't want to eat more because she's scared to get fat or hates how she looks when she bloats after eating. The list goes on. Those breakdowns are usually around when she is PMSing or about to have her period though. To make matters worse, she did gain a few lbs, only about 5, over the course of some time, and her parents would start making comments on her appearance and say things like, "Your legs are looking more full," or "You look fit," and also say things like, "Don't get too big, you don't want to look like a man." When they would go out to eat, her mom would also make comments like, "Are you going to eat all of that?" Or, "Wow, I can't believe you ate all of that." My GF would then come home after those occasions and talk about how she's fat, wants to lose weight, etc. when she's not even close to being even relatively overweight. I've tried to tell her to ignore her parents' comments and that they don't know what they're talking about. She's also studying for the MCAT right now and working part-time, about 16 hours a week. Fast forward to today, and she's almost always experiencing brain fog. Says that she has to take Adderall to be able to focus when she studies, always has trouble sleeping, is anxious a lot, etc. She also tends to get sick a lot, and even things as small as a bad night's sleep will absolutely wreck her the next day. I noticed this and started expressing my concerns with how I think she wasn't eating enough, especially for how much she moves physically and the mental demand of her studies. I really care about her and am trying to be a positive influence with living a healthy, happy, and overall good life. I've tried to tell her that with what she does mentally and how much she works out physically that she needs to be eating more. She says that she's scared of getting fat, of looking like a man, hates how it makes her bloat, is afraid of what her parents or friends will say, and that she hates when they comment on the changes she's making, even if the comments are compliments. She also says that it's uncomfortable because she's constipated a lot, and I truly believe the reason she's constipated a lot is because she doesn't eat enough food to regularly go to the bathroom. She eats about 1,800 calories a day, at most 2,000, but for someone that does everything she does physically and mentally, I truly don't think that's enough, and I've tried to educate her on why. I'm afraid of the long-term effects that this is going to have on her, as well as on our relationship and potential family. I love her and really want to be with her forever, but I'm afraid of what her health will be like in the future because of this and how it'll impact her, us, and our family. I think with her being 25 that things as small as a bad night's sleep shouldn't completely wreck her day, or that she shouldn't be getting sick every month/every other month. This makes me worry about situations like when we were to have a kid, especially since every parent I've met says that they don't sleep much the first year their baby is born. She also tends to be very forgetful, and small inconveniences seem to overwhelm her. I'm also afraid of her relationship with food possibly getting to our hypothetical kids. I want our kids to learn the importance of a well-balanced diet and proper nutrition, not restrict themselves because they don't want to get fat or don't want to eat X because they'll bloat. I'm starting to get burned out about having to reassure my GF that she isn't fat, isn't ugly, doesn't and won't look like a man, and hearing her complain about how she's sick a lot, or she didn't sleep well, or having to pick up the slack anytime she doesn't get a good night's rest, is always constipated, etc. She has tried therapy before, but has since discontinued it. I'm just afraid of the long-term effects her relationship with food will have on her, our relationship, and our potential family. I know that clearly the approach I've taken hasn't worked thus far, and so I'd like to get an outside perspective/opinions on how I could better approach this. TLDR, GF has everything I could possibly want in her, but am afraid of the impact her eating disorder will have on her long-term health, our relationship, and our potential family. Looking for ways to best approach this situation, so she will take better care of herself both for herself and our future.